crypto market is moving. Right now we are about $2 trillion mark, and you look at the prices, it's all green, it's all good, great. XRP is one among the top gainers in the last 24 hours. You look at last 7 days, it's still there with the other tokens moving higher. The market is bouncing, but you are like, okay, what is really happening? Yes, we knew that technically it was getting prepared for a rally, which I highlighted here before that even started. And now you come look at the price, it's like, okay, it's going nuts, it's going crazy. We are right now at 0.83 for XRP, and you see a lot of other coins are pumping. Yes, the market gave us some idea that this is going to happen, right? We were looking at that, we were talking through that. Right now you go look at the price and you're like, okay, fine, that call just worked, it just broke higher. So now you are definitely looking at what's happening. Fundamental changes are there, and the bears are now slowly checking for news, some kind of cooked up stuff, so that they can say, okay, the market has changed, the market is now bullish. But this is the reality for you. You look at this and you understand this is coming to you. Look at how stuff is changing. MasterCard has been in the space for a long time, but right now one of the fundamental project is moving. Now, yes, it is a fundamental project with the adoption, expansion, all those stuff, but it's primitive in this space, right? It's not that scalable. And if that network can become something like this, imagine what others are going to become once the regulatory clarity hits. Now, Bitcoin is right now the 8th largest asset in the world, and how do you think that's going to impact the world? KPMG Canada is adding Bitcoin and Ether to its balance sheet. Now, if you understand, Canada is one of the country where you don't have much gold as a reserve. You look at the comparison, one is 46, Canada, and then you're looking at, say, other countries here, 100, 300, 400, 1,000, 8,000 as the top, which is US. So right now you understand it's not even in that league of top 10, top 25 nations there, and you go down in this range where it's small countries, and comparatively Canada is one of the biggest nation in large. You don't have that much population, but you do have the ability to do that business and invite people. You have that. But they are low on gold, and right now you see institutions in the same country going on adding this asset class, which shows you money is coming into this space. If you are ready, you do have to understand a lot of people will be having hard time understanding this. Even I had that in the initial point. When you look at some NFTs and you see people buying millions of NFTs, you're like, okay, what is really happening? See, right now, it's not about you, it's about the market and the demand. See, if I don't understand, if I'm looking at this in one space, I'm like, okay, that's a monkey picture and it's being sold out for 50,000, a million, like that. But you do have to look at this new asset class and how stuff is changing. Here, this is a perfect real life example. You get that understanding of what it's actually doing, right? So now, entire stuff, the fundamentals is being pushed. That means narrative. Understand that. That means the big guys have already accumulated, and now they want you to buy and then ride the price to the upside so they can take the profit. So if you sold when they panicked you, now you lost. But there are some negative stuff happening in the market. So you need to be able to understand what's happening there too. You need to understand what's happening through that. Read through this, post the video, read through that, and understand if that's going to impact you and if you are using a leverage service. Now we all understand the positive stuffs are coming in, and even though Solana network is getting that kind of network glitches intermediately, they are coming out with products which can be used easily. So user friendliness is important. Now, before we go into any other stuff, we need to actually look at the charts and say like, okay, what really is happening? So here, if we are taking out this previous high, that's going to be super bullish for XRP. We have done this before. We broke higher, we retested, we bounced. Similarly, when we came in to this range where we were getting supported before and resisted before, we consolidated there. But right now, if you look at what's happening in the market, it's growing crazy. We went through this, we broke this higher. Yes, we understood that's going to come, but we really thought that this level of 0.75, 0.78 would be a resistance. But right now when you go, you see the prices at 0.83, which highlights the buying power, the potential, the volume is there. It's kind of going through that level where you are now becoming bullish. Now, understand the macro perspective is always important. So you now go into the macro one and you are like, okay, let me see what's happening. You are breaking through that. So one of the important primary stuff which I would suggest to you guys is look at the macro, and if you see that's breaking out, that's bullish. So if you are becoming a bear this time, that's going to really hurt you, because say you go technical, you go in a different approach, you go to the trend. Yes, you had this as the low which was broken to the downside. Here you went down, then you had created a new low here. Fine, right now it's changing, you're creating a new high. So the trend is changing. Those who went bearish on this one, good luck for you. But right now the market is suggesting that it's moving to the upside. On a weekly, you're gonna get a higher high at $1 mark, but that's not that far. Remember where we were around 0.5, and right now we are at 0.83. Why? Because the price moves it in a crazy manner. The market never goes from that greed to fear by standing here in the neutral side. It just fluctuates. So if you're trying to catch that neutral position, it's going to be hard. But now this is a market with hundreds of assets, thousands of assets, which are good. So to identify the best 100, it's going to be super hard. So what you can do is go on to assets which you personally understand. If you don't understand, it's going to be crazy. Otherwise, you should be able to understand, okay, this is breaking out, this is technically bullish, I'm gonna get a breakout. Then you follow that and you get it. Okay, fine, that's all great. Otherwise, you look at this and you say like, okay, say this one just happened. Now, yesterday I put this one out saying, okay, I can be wrong, but I think we are about to break higher in dent. And then you go look at the price right now. This is what the market is giving you. We started breaking higher. Now, you go look at Veracity. We were here and it's just a week back. I was like, okay, don't go bearish on this one. This is trending higher on the macro, and the possibility that it's going to go high is super high. So you now come to the market, you go through different assets, first 100, 200, 300, and you see like, okay, Veracity is up 32% for the day. It's 70% up in last 10 days. We are moving higher. Last 7 days, we are like 60% up. So now you go look at different charts. You are getting all this. Say Wink, we broke higher. We expected this one, right? Then Theta Fuel, you go look at this. We were calling out this breakout. Now all of this comes in our Patreon, where we discuss through this, show you what's the possibility. All right, so we are looking through this as an opportunity to give you guys that understanding that the market has a lot of opportunity and a breakouts happening. I go through this, I try to give you guys those breakout calls. Say the Wink one I showed you, it was here. Then the Theta Fuel, it was here. Now we get all of this, just one stuff: patience. If you don't have that, you are not able to capitalize on this one. Now again, when you look at the market right now, you're looking like, okay, Bitcoin is at a resistance. Yes, it is at a resistance. Previous stuff, go to this and learn from the market. Yes, we had bounced. We broke the trend line resistance here. We are doing the same. We have a trend line resistance. And right now, we are bouncing above that. We broke above that. We are moving through. That's all great, all cool. Now, you look at the previous high here before the capitulation. You reached that range and slowed down a bit and then went higher. Now you are at the same position here. You broke higher, you are moving higher. You reached this previous level of resistance, and right now you're like, okay, are we going to bounce, retest and then go higher, or are we going to retest the back side which is around 40-41K, and then bounce. We don't know, it's the market, right? You go short term to understand what's happening there, but on a macro, this is super bullish, right? Whether we have a correction, it's still healthy. The market is going to be absorbed because people are now going nuts because they missed the opportunity. So right now, the altcoins are breaking this short-term trend line. We are going higher. That's great. So now, as you come up here, we'll again have resistance. But understand, to reach that level from the current euphoria, you still have a little bit more space. So that's the average gap. So if you see some random coin pump 10, 20, 30% a day again, don't be surprised. Because the market is about to do all this crazy stuff when you are bearish. Say XRP is about to break higher on the pair XRP BTC. Now that's really important. Because on a 3-day chart, when you're getting a breakout here in XRP BTC, in the history, we knew what went through that, what went after that. So if you are walking through this, now if you are an XRP investor and you are looking through this, you know what's coming. If you have checked through what happened in the history, you really understand what is coming. If you haven't checked what the fundamental is and what this asset is all about, then yes, you are in doubt, you are in, that area where you're like, should I move to a different asset? But in the market, you have a ton of assets. Which one are you going to move to? Because fundamental is changing. You go look at different parts. See, now we are going to look at FB. Now we are going to look at gold, all the other assets. But one thing you need to understand is we are having a change in the market. See, we have talked about this change before. We have talked about this change a lot of time. Right now, you are getting that in the market. One of the important stuff, yes, one of the important stuff is understanding what's coming. Right, in the last video, I really wanted to give you guys that idea that we are about to pump, and that's why I was like, do you want serious money? And look at XRP and crypto space. In the space, you have XRP, which is pumping crazy, which is great, and you also have some other assets which are about to run, which are starting now, right, with fundamentals, not just the meme coins. Now you go in here, you also see, now you will be confused because you have the payment tokens like Quant, XRP running, you have the metaverse, the gaming stuff like Gala and others running, and then you see SHIB is running. So I'm like, okay, what am I watching here? That's the market, right? When you get a tsunami, it doesn't actually matter whether your boat has an engine or not. It will go up. But the corrections is what it matters. When the wave goes down, if your boat doesn't have an engine, it's going to crash. So if you are a long-term investor in an asset class, you need to make sure you are going to survive through these corrections and reach the top. Why is that so important? Because in the short term, this is all great. We are pumping, we are going crazy nuts. But you come to the long-term perspective and you are like, okay, what's happening? These corrections, which we had like now, is going to come again. Difference is, most likely you're going to hit one of your biggest target before that. If your asset does not have liquidity, it may not have survived this phase. XRP just did. Then we went higher, we had all those crazy stuff, and we are still bouncing. Right now, anyone who has been in the space and learned technical analysis on a regular basis understand this is a clear pattern. Now, okay, we call it rounded bottom, but what really is happening in the market? Understand that. When the price is going down, the supply is increasing, the demand is decreasing. Whereas at the bottom, in this particular range, supply and demand is matching up. The supply, whatever it drops into the market, is being absorbed. So you are consolidating in the same range without going down or up. But at one point, you see the demand side is increasing. It's absorbing more supply. So the price goes back up. This is the rounded bottom, right? So when you are watching the same dynamics playing out in the market, that's really bullish stuff for medium to long-term investors. But if you are going into 2-hour chart, 1-hour chart, 4-hour chart to just play around, make sure you know what you are looking for. Don't jump into it before you see a breakout. And if you are getting a retest, that's one of the best stuff. We had that in XRP. We broke higher, retested and bounced. So if you did, definitely get an additional pause in the market for you to buy if you were watching that. That's why again and again I say we are watching through all of these and giving you guys that breakout zone, breakout targets, breakout calls and all, where you are able to watch through this and understand, okay, we are going to make money and this is my target. I'm going to take my money out at that space, because it's not one asset, it's not two. There's a ton of assets which you are right now watching at. So now when the Bitcoin dominance is consolidating, you're like, okay, what's going to happen? Is Bitcoin going to consolidate? We are not sure. But right now, take this in the picture. You're still rallying to the upside. If you break this to the downside, that means Bitcoin dominance is going to drop from 41.5 to 39, which again is going to put more money into the altcoin space. So if you are going to run from this level to the downside here, which I think is the possibility, and then bounce, or you break to the downside, altcoins are going to run hard. And if you are not in this asset class right now, you are going to miss a ton of opportunities. Look at FB, it's down like 42%. Look at Tesla, it's also down heavy. Look at Netflix, it's down super low. But you kind of understand, like, okay, these are down, but you're looking at gold, it's still holding. So those who are going into gold as an investment understand that's a hedge against the market. That's something which is preserving your purchasing power. So if you consider 2% of growth a year, 3% of a growth per year as good investment, that's the right one for you. But if you're just there to hedge, that's a great one. But while you invest and you have this market moving highly volatile, yes, it is risky, but with risk comes your reward. So if you are looking for that reward, you definitely want this asset class. You need to be in here, you need to manage your risk properly, you need to be in the right assets, and you need to take out your profits at the right time. So guys, if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button, because that supports the channel a lot. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.